The Australian story, no matter the chapter, is an adventure story. Ancient, action-packed, precious and proud. This week we'll experience some of southeastern Queensland's most unique wildlife in their natural habitats. Large and small, they all have a story to tell. Ours is a country of open roads and experiences wild and new. An adventure story that's yours for the making.
The Gold Coast. For over 50 years, this shimmering strip of South Queensland surf and turf has been the place for winter-weary families to come and bask in the coast's high-rise theme park fun and games. But it's worth remembering that the Goldie, for all its glitz, is still the gateway to some of Australia's best wildlife experiences. And that is why I'm en route to a tiny Queensland island that most people have never heard of. But it's probably Australia's most accessible turtle habitats.
And I'm a traveller, so I've been around Australia,
Yeah.
and I pride myself on that, but I've never heard of Lady Elliot Island.
Lady Elliot Island is the southern end of the Great Barrier Reef. It's the southern anchor.
Lady Elliot Island is about a 90-minute flight from Coolangatta on the Gold Coast. And according to my pilot Peter Gash from Sea Air, this little oasis is one of the Great Barrier Reef's most important wildlife habitats.
We think it's one of the most beautiful parts of the Great Barrier Reef. The ocean currents come flowing up the shelf, roll over the top, and the first thing they split around is Lady Elliot. So they're full of plankton and full of marine animals, full of action. What you'll always swim with at Lady Elliot, you'll always see is turtles.
I mean, who doesn't love turtles?
The only way out to Lady Elliot is by light plane. And the first thing you'll notice is that humans are not in the majority here. This is an island ruled by its animals. Lady Elliot has the second highest diversity of seabirds on the Great Barrier Reef, with an estimated 100,000 birds nesting on the island each year, 70% of which are these irrepressible black noddy terns.
There are birds absolutely everywhere on the island. In fact, the island was made from bird guano. But if you think the wildlife's abundant up here, just wait till you get beneath the surface.
The island lies within a marine national park and forms part of Australia's World Heritage listed Great Barrier Reef.
Good morning, Carolyn. Beautiful day. Really
Beautiful day
good.
for a dive.
Welcome aboard.
And dive master Kim Fiora has notched up years of experience in these waters.
And how long have you been doing this?
I'm on my 10th year.
Really? You must love it.
Oh, yes. It's probably some of the best diving in the world.
Wow, we better keep it a secret.
Yeah, try to.
These waters boast some of the clearest conditions on the entire reef. It's an experience ruled by vivid colours of its coral and the humbling feeling you get in the presence of Lady Elliot's exotic locals, like this majestic manta ray. I just love seeing all these little reef sharks.
Yeah, reef sharks are a sign of a healthy reef.
That's a pretty amazing leopard shark just there.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a big wreck.
It was once known as Shipwreck Island.
How many shipwrecks are here then?
There could be up to 150 shipwrecks.
Beautiful big stingray.
Yeah, that's a marble boray. Now, they like to hang out here. They'll sit there and they'll just hover around the wreck.
But if there's a star of the show, it's the island's green turtles. Look how close I can get to him. Wow, he's really checking me out. Wow. He's got quite a lot of algae on his shell, and he's really getting into it, pushing right back against my hands. He's loving it. I guess who doesn't love a bit of a back massage? Oh, that's so cool. These beautiful animals spend the first 30 years of their life roaming the open ocean before they begin their breeding, with only 1 in 1,000 ever growing to adulthood, like this stunning female. How incredible is this? This is the biggest turtle I've ever seen, let alone got so close to. This is beautiful. The Great Barrier Reef is World Heritage listed for a reason. It's just amazing. Later in the show, we'll have more on the life and times of Lady Elliot's turtles as these young hatchlings begin their frantic journey to the sea.
Next, Lamington National Park, living proof of the power of conservation. When it comes to touring southeastern Queensland, your adventure generally comes in two main flavours, surf or turf. And if your tastes lean to the inland, the Lamington National Park is about 85 kilometres southwest from the Gold Coast. The park is part of the Gondwana Rainforests of Australia World Heritage Area, the most extensive subtropical rainforest in the world. Spread out across 20,000 hectares, this place is without doubt living evidence of the power of conservation. In 2015, this national park celebrates 100 years of conservation. It's renowned for developing conservation practices, and the vegetation here has remained virtually unchanged for possibly millions of years. Many of the plants found here aren't found anywhere else on the planet. It's an extraordinary slice of environment. If you're a keen bushwalker and don't mind camping, Lamington has over 160 kilometres of bushwalking trail and walk-in campsites open between February and November. But if you prefer your creature comforts, O'Reilly's Family Guesthouse was established in the area in the 1920s. And with 35 years of intimate knowledge of this subtropical environment, a one-on-one bushwalk with Glenn Trelfo is a truly revealing window into the day-to-day lives of the forest's unique wildlife. What amazing colouring he's got.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, look, blue. He's got red between the joints. With these large nippers, he'd love to get those nippers on him if he could.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's no camouflaging going on there, which means that, well, he doesn't really have predators.
In the water, there are no predators here.
Our first find for the day is the Lamington spiny crayfish.
They're in wet weather, they'll go walkabout. Really? Yeah, they'll go right up into the hills, yeah. You'll find them sometimes half a kilometre or so away from water.
And if you do cross paths with one of these blue meanies, be warned, because they tend to make quite the fuss, aggressively waving their claws back over their head and hissing audibly. Be it mammal, reptile, fish or frog, if you look long and hard enough, Lamington National Park will not disappoint. But if your particular love of wildlife leans to the avian variety, then you will understand when I say that this park is a twitcher's or bird lover's nirvana. They're coming to you.
They are. They know my voice over the years.
That's incredible. And Glenn, it seems, has a touch of the twitch himself, or at least these two little scrub wrens think he does.
Hold your hand out. Here, watch this.
Got some bush nuts here.
Yeah.
What are these?
Yellow-throated scrub wrens. They've lost their fear of us. It's I've been doing this for years with this pair of birds. This robin's about to come, look.
Glenn's relationship with these little birds is pretty special. So much so, he has spent years developing his foolproof bird call to attract them.
How do you get the whip bird in?
Well, I got to call him.
Okay.
Whippy! His territory is right around this area.
Wait, that's it?
Whippy!
That's
Whippy! He knows his name. Whippy! Whippy! Now this is the only whip bird known in Australia to come to anyone's head.
Really?
They are timid and they hide in the bush. And it took 3 years to gain his confidence.
The eastern whipbird can be found from Victoria all the way up to central Queensland, and touchingly, once they have found a partner, they bond for life.
He lost his wife.
How?
Well, we don't know. Could have been a hawk or a feral cat or something. But he was on his own for 3 years after that, everyone feeling sorry for him. And one day we see him with this young teenage girl, you know.
A young one?
Yeah, she hadn't even fully coloured up. He must have promised her international park holidays, the whole works. But they settled down and they've raised 3 lots of twins, over the last couple of years. Oh, look at that.
But of all our encounters today, I have to say I'm most partial to these little robins. Small little bundles of charm at home in the vast Lamington wilds. With almost 23,000 square kilometres of stunning scenery to discover, you'll want the freedom of a camper van to tour Queensland's scenic southeast, and it's bound to be an experience of a lifetime. And as the sun sets on another day's driving, a little planning always goes a long way. My top 5 camper van travel tips. Number 1, embrace minimalism. Only pack the essentials. There's no point in swimming about in a van full of gear you're never going to use. Number 2, embrace the campground. The very reason you've got a camper van is because you're looking for your own slice of paradise. But the campground is where you can learn about new places to go, shortcuts, road conditions. And number 3, don't forget the medicine kit. You're bound to have a dusty morning after a long night of storytelling, so don't forget the Barocca and the Panadol. Number 4, do the speed limit. Nothing eats into the holiday budget faster than speeding fines. You'll also save on fuel if you go slower. And number 5, be prepared. Always take extra water. You never know when extra water could be the difference between a funny holiday yarn and something more serious. Coming up next, we return to Lady Elliot Island as its tiny turtle hatchlings begin their incredible journey.
To kick off the premiere series of Australian Geographic Adventures, we're going to be giving away this amazing adventure kit, which we hope will inspire you to get out and explore this incredible country of ours. This majestic 2015 Sierra Off-Road Extreme comes complete with air conditioning, gas-heated hot water system, a rear ensuite, and you even get a Kamek top-loader washing machine. And it's got 15-inch alloy wheels. It's got Simplicity suspension. It's got a really good Austrail chassis and very good water storage capacity too. Now, as if that's not enough, this prize even includes this Stabbycraft 1650 Fisher with Mercury outboard, Lowrance electronics and Transstyle trailer. To be in the running, just text your full name and details to 1995 2010. So if you have any questions, all terms and conditions can be found on this website. So get busy folks, because this amazing prize pack is going to make for some awesome adventures.
Earlier in the show, I travelled to Lady Elliot Island and came face to face with the biggest turtle I've ever seen. But now, it's time to learn a little more about the smallest of these creatures. Above the waterline, Lady Elliot is a compact, unpretentious, 41-room eco-resort, which strives to provide guests with a genuine ecotourism experience, specialising in renewable and sustainable technologies.
One of the really special things about Lady Elliot Island being so remote and right out here on the edge of the reef is that it's the perfect breeding ground for turtles. And if you get here between October and March, you might just get lucky and get to see some babies hatching. Hey
as a guest, you're welcome to join Environmental Officer Jim Buck as he collects data and monitors the movements of each season's hatchlings. Jim's been coming to islands like Lady Elliot for almost 30 years and dedicating his free time to educating guests and staff on how to gather this important breeding data.
Yeah, so this little guy looks like he's been caught underneath coral. Hey, do you want to just hang on to that, Caroline?
So precious.
Just put one finger on the top and one on the bottom.
How old is this little man?
He's probably a couple of days, probably about 4 or 5 days.
This is such an amazing, special moment. Check him out.
And we've got a second one here as well.
He's just tiny, but he's quite strong. Like he's ready, he's eager to go.
So if you want to hold that one as well, just a finger on the top and the bottom.
There's more coming.
So there's a third one there as well. I don't like to hold these little guys. We shouldn't be holding them. So what we'll do is we'll release them down into the water.
Okay.
They must run from the top of the dune.
Okay, so we've got to let them run.
We must let them run.
Off you go.
The beauty of this work is that anybody can do it. But be prepared because these turtle nests only hatch once the sun has set. And the turtles themselves have waited until the perfect moment to start their journey.
So it's been about 3 hours and the temperature's dropped a little bit. It's a little bit chillier, so I reckon it's going to happen any minute.
There are up to 200 nests on the island this year, and this nest contained 130 eggs.
Wow. Here they go, guys.
All the hatchlings claw their way out of the sand at the same time.
Oh look, here comes one, here comes the first one.
Making a frantic dash to the ocean.
Good luck, little guys. Have a great life. Big adventure.
It's moments like this that are bound to make the Lady Elliot Island experience stay with you forever.
They quite literally just running down the beach and a couple have gone straight over my feet, hitting, oh, there's another one, hitting the ocean, and that's that. That was amazing. They all came down the beach and just the whole nest just erupted and there was hundreds of them. And in about 3 minutes, they're all gone, off on their journey.
Coming up next,
Oh, she's so soft.
releasing bilbies back into the wild. It's 6 p.m. and the poolside action here at the Gold Coast Holiday Park is going strong. But some of us still have work to do.
As the sun seekers lap up the last rays of the day, the nightlife on the Gold Coast is just warming up. And there's a particular breed of locals who are a little bit wild and like to pull all-nighters, but I bet you can't guess who I'm talking about.
And after a long day of adrenaline rides and general theme park shenanigans, Dreamworld, about 30 minutes north of the Gold Coast main drag, has wound down to an eerie calm.
Hey, Al.
Hey, Caroline.
How you doing?
I'm pretty good.
I've come to give you my hands for the evening.
Absolutely.
Al Mookie is the General Manager of Life Sciences at Dreamworld, which is home to the only non-government captive breeding program for bilbies. And every bit of help counts because these guys are really up against it.
There used to be a number of species of bilbies. The greater bilby is the last one left because they're extinct. And in Queensland, there are only 400 left on the planet. That's it.
Why has it?
Feral animals, particularly the feral cat, but foxes and other animals all impact the bilby.
Working hand in hand with the Save the Bilby Fund, Al and the program have been preparing and releasing bilbies back into the wild for the last 7 years. And a very important part of that process is maintaining their diets.
We've got some paper bark, and what I'd like you to do is drop some mealworms in there.
Okay, I'm making burritos,
Yep.
bilby burritos. Okay, why are we taking the time to wrap them up? Why don't we just feed it to them?
Well, these animals are going to the wild, and so the best way to do that is to make it interesting for them, so as it would be in the wild, or as best as possible.
The Save the Bilby Fund campaigned to raise the $500,000 needed to build a 25 square kilometre bilby fence at Currawinya National Park in Western Queensland. It has been designed to enable them to live and breed in safety.
Here we go, Caroline.
I actually thought they might be a little bit smaller. They're bigger than I expected. Hey guys.
Here you go. Do you want to hold this? And she'll eat straight out. There she goes.
Oh, she's a bit hungry.
Oh, she's loving the...
Oh, awesome. Can I touch her?
Yeah, just on the back.
Oh, she's so soft.
For
That's
an
amazing.
arid species.
Dreamworld is a proud gold sponsor of the Save the Bilby Fund. If you feel like donating, simply log on to www.savethebilbyfund.com and check out the variety of cool ways that you can help these nearly extinct little Aussies. If touring southeastern Queensland's wilder corners has got you in the mood for an adventure, Brits Camper Vans are your adventure go-to crew. And this week, the crew and I stayed in some of the Gold Coast's best holiday parks. We kicked off our Gold Coast adventure at the Broadwater Tourist Park, which has powered sites from $42 and cabins from $152. Before we set out for Lamington National Park, we enjoyed a peaceful night's rest at the Tallybudgera Creek Tourist Park, which has sites from $41 and cabins from $152. And to round things off, we spent our last night on the Goldie at the Burleigh Beach Tourist Park, which has sites from $34 and cabins starting from $145. For this information and more about this week's Australian Geographic adventures, log on to agadventures.com.au. Next week, David explores the wild blue face of New South Wales Port Stephens, diving with its endangered grey nurse sharks, swimming with its irresistible bottlenose dolphin, and the odd scenic drive as well.